All right, there it went. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our July user group. Delighted that you're taking some time out of your day to spend with us, or hopefully taking some time out to watch the recording once we get that posted for you. But again, happy July. Hope everybody's having a great summer. Hard to believe that we're already getting into late July. And before you know it, schools are going to be starting and it's going to be fall, which is hard to believe. But again, happy summer. Hope everybody's enjoying it. Got some great content for everyone today. Here's our agenda. Just number one, the welcome. For those of you that are able to attend in person, we spend a little bit of time beforehand with Kim kind of setting the table for us. Then she turns it over to me for the recording. So again, just welcome to everyone, and certainly the folks that have joined us online this morning. Nice to hear from everybody uh, and get some feedback on some off-topic things, which was fun. Couple items we're going to cover today, and just kind of get you guys updated on everything. And I've actually got several things to demo. We're going to start with invoicing, electronic invoicing, and kind of let you know where we're at with that process. Very excited about the electronic invoicing feature in eVA and the progress we have made on that. Going to talk about our most recent eVA production release. We really didn't have a May release. We had a lot of items, invoicing being a big part of that. So that pushed our release that would have traditionally fallen in May kind of into the um, sort of the middle of June. And then we also had a release here in July. And I will touch on some of the things that were happening in production, some major highlights for you from those releases that we did here most recently. And then I think some great items to demo for everyone today. Going to look at some analytics and how we're starting to open the door there and let you guys have a look at that and dig around in that. So kind of hopefully open that door for you if you haven't already gone through it. I know some organizations have. We'll be very excited. For those of you going to the forum, we're going to have some great highlights around analytics for that from one of our agencies. And to kind of leave that hanging out there, I'll let you go find out who that is as some of the forum details begin to get posted. We're going to talk about a contract report real quick. I'm going to show you that a new report that has gone into our contracting module that'll hopefully help you from a spend perspective. And then one that is very near and dear to my heart and to a lot of our end users out there. Speaking of forum, a big item that came to us from forum. We've got some positive changes to punch out processing, which will allow you to add a line item to a punch out shopping cart, even after you've brought it back into eVA. And I'm going to show you that today. So excited to get that moving for everybody. So lots of exciting things here as we near the end of July. So let's dig in again for the recording itself. And then for posterity purposes, my favorite slide here, just kind of pointing everybody who's either watching this live or watching the recording to our release notes. I know a recent copy of the release notes from our July release that we had about 2 weeks ago now have gone up or will go up this morning. Not sure how far Dave Foster is with that, if he's got that wrapped up for us, but he was working on that this morning to get those release notes up. There'll be another kind of smaller release. I'll kind of talk about that with the dates when you see it coming in the night of July 25th. So you'll see that Friday morning, unless you're really crazy and up at 3 a.m. Digging around in eVA. But certainly Friday morning, you'll see some minor changes from a secondary July release for some things we're cleaning up. And then, as always, if you haven't gone to check it out, this was Tony's brainchild. Appreciate our team for contributing to that. eVA tips. So there are buyer and supplier tips, and these are just some nice pointers and things like that. So sometimes I breeze through this slide, but I just wanted to focus on it today, just as a reminder, because a lot of times I breeze by it. But release notes, and our eVA tips. So some good stuff there to keep you up to date on all the comings and goings in eVA and to help you out a little bit from a tips perspective. Let's dig in and kind of talk about where we are with invoicing. And I will. So Kim turned on, I think it's the reactions. And they float. I don't know if that's getting recorded or not. I assume it is, but the reactions kind of float across the screen as I'm saying things, which is making me smile. Always good to smile, especially on a July summer day, right? But in any case, let's dig back into electronic invoicing and kind of tell you where we are. Yeah, you likely noticed, or I hope you noticed, back about 2 weeks ago, would have come in on a Friday. We did prep our production environment for electronic invoicing. So from a technical perspective, electronic invoicing is actually in the production environment. There are some additional columns. I said options there that maybe isn't very well spoken. It's really columns and some data fields. Some placeholders went in. So if you go into a PO, you might notice there's an invoicing section now. When you browse orders, you might notice an invoicing column. This is all kind of prep and areas that have come in and that when invoicing does, and I'm saying it as a future for everybody, when invoicing does get turned on for your entity, because we absolutely hope everybody rolls out this great function, that stuff will then start to fill with data as invoices start to come in from your supplier community. Don't panic though. No impact to your entity. We're controlling access to invoicing at the entity level. So right now, nobody's turned on. So you see some columns, you see some placeholders, but it's not really impacting anyone. And right now, where we're at is our implementation plan is starting to come together. We're getting ready and to do some setup and complete some setup for our users in our UAT environment. We're getting our training materials together and getting our training plan together. I do have a handful of agencies that appear to be coming on with us here. We're thinking that first week of September to getting those agencies to come with us and start the invoicing journey. So excited for them. Right now, those agencies, I'll give them a little pat on the back. General Services, our own agency here, DHP, Health Professionals, State Police, and Corrections will be exploring and starting up the invoicing journey. So more to come on that. Our next user group meeting will be in September. So I'll have a lot of updates for you in September about invoicing. And then certainly when we go to the forum, we've already dedicated some space for electronic invoicing at the forum, and we'll be talking about it there as well. So, hard to believe that the prep, we are full bore beginning to kind of get our mind around what we're doing at our procurement forum all the way in November, but it'll be here before you know it. So again, that's kind of where we are with invoicing. More to come on that. Again, I think, if you're an entity that you're thinking about invoicing or you're curious, we're going to get these training materials together, training plan, and then, kind of go through this. Thanks again to those agencies who are coming on early with us in September and kind of piloting with that. We'll learn a lot of lessons and hopefully make that transition easier for everyone as we begin to kind of march down the path with invoicing. Shifting gears, let's kind of talk about our highlights for our June, July release and some things that we accomplished here in that June, July release. Invoicing in and of itself, functionality, I mentioned this, it's in production. The feature itself is controlled at the agency entity level, the ability to enable that feature. So just, kind of something to talk about there, but it is in production. We spent a lot of time this spring, late spring and into the early summer, getting that ready and excited to have that in production. And now it's more about just implementing and getting training ready and UAT and all that fun stuff so that we can test with our agencies and run through business scenarios and get our staffs trained and ready and then let that go. And that includes our supplier community. I mentioned analytics. I'm going to show you guys this today in production. We did a little updates to the reports that are available to you. Right now, if users with sealed sourcing, if you have sealed sourcing, you have access to some of these reports. There is one more additional update coming July 25th into the 26th that really helps with refreshing your data and some things like that. So don't get too excited yet. I'd really love to have you guys really dig into this after the 26th. But again, I'm going to show you guys that today and just some things that you guys can start looking at. And again, we have an agency that'll be doing some sessions at the forum that really went above and beyond and really took ownership of this area. And we're very proud of them. But again, I won't tell you who they are because I want you to go figure out all the forum sessions and kind of look at that. And then you'll be able to figure out from that by looking at some of the forum sessions and descriptions as that gets posted. So I'll kind of leave a little cliffhanger for you there. Contracts. I'm going to show you this as well. There is a PO total amount detail across related contracts report that's now available. So if you have a contract in eVA and maybe you had to do an amendment to make a correction, or you've done a renewal or several renewals, that contract, there's a report in there that can summarize the spend for you at a glance. So you can get a feel for the spend on that contract. And I'm going to pop out to a contract in production and show you that so you can get a feel for that as well. So again, couple neat things around analytics and then adding in an analytical report to our contract module. So I'll pop over and show you guys that as well. Staying in the release highlights, this is a really, really, really exciting one for us. I'm going to demo it today as well. So it's number 3 of our 3 demo items. Punch out, return cart, edit. We have crossed the bridge finally. The issue here, I'll kind of summarize it, and then when I dig into it, we'll talk about it again. But this ability, you're shopping. I go out to a punch out catalog. I add several items to the cart. I bring that cart back to eVA and I go, oh dear, oh dear. I need to add 2 more items. Or I know this happened in the past. Tony reminded me of this, and I know it's not happening now because we don't allow you to do it. We used to have some users who, like maybe for office products, they would start a monthly or weekly office products order, and they kind of leave it in draft, right? And in our legacy environment, you could do that. You could leave it in draft. You could punch back out and add and do all sorts of stuff. Like you could add additional items and all sorts of things. Well, since we've gone live back in November of 22, the ability to add items to an existing requisition or an existing cart. So I'm really going to try to change your mentality around managing your shopping at a shopping cart level. We didn't let you do that. So if you went out to a punch out catalog and you added 5 items and you needed to add items 6, 7, and 8, if you went out to do that, it created a new requisition, and that was driving people nuts. And we're very sorry that you had to live with that this long, but there is a fix coming in for it. Now, there's a nuance to it. I think you're going to love it. I think it's a big improvement. Oh, look at the hearts coming up. I think it's a big improvement, but I do need to change your mentality around that. So we'll get to that here in just a minute from a demo perspective. And I'm going to demo it, show it to you. It's in UAT right now. So you guys, if you have UAT access, can jump in and play with this. It'll be available on the 26th. Last thing here, user management. For those of you that are user managers, auditors, whatever, our browse user page, when you go to user, browse users, for those of you that have user management, the delete date's in there. I know that was important from an audit perspective and some of you guys that are user managers. So just more data coming up to the browse users page to make that page a little bit more user-friendly, particularly for folks that had user management and for our auditing community. But I wanted to put that in there as a highlight. We do have some, just wanted to we've been tracking these issues for several months, our high priority issue update, punch out, return cart, edit. that's coming in July 25th. I'm going to show you that in just a second. Electronic invoice, that's migrated to prod. Again, it's enabled at the entity level. So, a couple of things that we've been really pounding on the last couple of weeks and months are starting to get knocked off the list. Purchase order to pay transparency reporting, outreach and setup continue to be ongoing with that. So a lot of work going around that. Analytics, particularly around requisition, aging cycle time. I really feel like I've got some options for you guys coming in the night of the 25th as well, available the 26th. So we'll demo that as well. So some high priority items that we're kind of pounding through. A couple other ones that we're still got our eyes on and we're still tracking. Something on a requisition, a P card indicator, a warning, a message, a default, whatever it is, to make sure we can easily tell if a P card has been associated with a requisition, an attachment indicator on the requisition line, the ability to search for requisitions created by users who are blocked, deleted, disabled, and then receiving on negative line items. So again, don't really have dates or when we're going to wrap these up for you, but I do want to let you know that we continue to remain focused on these and their next up issues. And certainly things will shift around here over the next couple of weeks and months as we prep some additional items, certainly going into the forum and then going into 2025 with some changes and updates and things we're going to be working on. So just a couple of things we wanted to share, but good news is a lot of high priority items. We are making some progress. And I hope if you've been with us, I know we're not perfect. I know we are not able to fix every issue, but I hope you can feel some level of progress. We're always here just plugging along, trying to continue to make improvements and move things on down the road. So that is really the update portion of the user group. And now I want to dig into the demo. We're going to look at analytics, contracts, and punch out. So there you go. And then the questions feedback thing. So I'm going to stop sharing very briefly. I'm going to stop this presentation. I am going to reshare. I was laughing with our panelists that this was the old man portion of the proceedings when I stare at my screen, making sure I pull up the correct screen for you guys. Let me make sure.
And while Shane's doing that, I will let him find that information. And I'll just reinforce to you guys that if you hear this message, I hope that you're also sharing this message because as many of you as we know participate in our user groups, receive communications, we know that there's an equal or greater volume of our users that this information needs to trickle down to. It needs to be passed down from up above. So we hope that if you're hearing some of this information, that you are sharing it amongst yourselves, that you're sharing it with your coworkers, you're sharing it with other users. So the more that someone can hear the message, the more they will be aware that things are coming, understand what impacts them, and then, of course, be able to get appropriate support versus something going into production and seeing it for the first time and feeling as if they haven't been communicated to. So we're going to definitely say things multiple times because we know not everyone is hearing our message for multiple times. They may be hearing it for the first time, and we would just ask you guys to do the same. If you could help be town criers on our behalf and make sure that your users are staying informed, even if they get communications directly from us, it's going to help to just reinforce that. So thanks so much for helping us that way.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kim. All right, let's dig into our first thing here, and it's all around analytics. Again, if you are a user that has sealed sourcing on your profile, meaning you see sourcing here, and that you're beyond browsing, a lot of your users can see contracts, but they can only browse, they can't create. But if you have sealed sourcing, you should also have an analytics drop down here. And this is what I want to go into. If you go to analytics and hit reporting homepage, and I'm in production, to be clear, you can go into analytics and hit the reporting homepage and give it a second here to launch. There we go. And you've got all sorts of fun things in here from an analytics perspective. There we've done a little cleanup. We are leaving this open to you from a user, kind of perspective, where if you hit procurement, that really ties to this procurement dropdown. So it's all recs and orders and receipts. Budget really doesn't impact you guys, but certainly there's a sourcing one here. There is a contract here. There's some that are not categorized, but may be interesting to you. So all sorts of analytics and some reports and some things that we've baked into here. The one I want to drive you guys to is one that we've done. It's called requisition efficiency. We've had some requests around this. So if you click on requisition efficiency, that launches. Now because of my access, again, I am in my production account. I am showing requisition efficiency for the entire enterprise. So this is every entity in eVA. That includes local governments, that includes anybody who's started a requisition in eVA. So I'm seeing an enterprise. You can always change the organization here, and that is absolutely going to be controlled by what organization you have access to. So if you are at a singular organization, your data, your organization this will likely be locked. And so let's say you're at General Services, this would be locked and you would see this data for DGS. Okay. So just to let you know, but again, looking at this is kind of telling me across the entire enterprise, I have 722 requisitions across the entire enterprise that are older than 30 days old that are still pending approval. So if you think about all of eVA, 722 recs are in some sort of approval flow and they're older than 30 days. I'd say that's pretty good. There's $334 million worth of recs that are in draft, and our average approval time across the entire enterprise for all requisitions is 3 days, right? And then you can come down here and you can see recs greater than 60 days, 0 to 7 days, 1,787 across the enterprise are pending approval, and so on and so forth. There are drill downs on some of these where you can right click on the chart and actually access the data that they're being pulled from. Now, again, I'm seeing an enterprise view, so I see a lot of data from this view. You guys would obviously only be able to see what you have access to. But again, you can see, I think this is always interesting, the amount trend, there's year end, kind of year end. So amount versus the number of PRs. And certainly this time after year end, we kind of go down, and then you'll find this will slowly start to crawl back up as the new fiscal year starts. And data starts to come in and we start to ramp up and get into the fall, you'll see this come up. So this is a pretty regular trend for us that we get a little spike at year end. And then as we go into the summer after and getting near year end, we start to go down and then it'll come back up again. But again, I wanted you guys to see this. Again, a lot of the charts, when you put your cursor over them, you right click and you can hit access chart data. Depending on your access, you could edit it for your organization. You can do all sorts of interesting things to customize and save these reports for yourself. You could do a new analysis. All right. So all sorts of fun things out here. And again, we are going to have a couple sessions at the forum where we again have an agency that just took ownership of this and built a lot of their own things to help them manage their procurement shop. And again, I'm very excited about that. So you need to come to the forum so you can see that. A little promotion for the forum there. But again, that's the analytics. It's something I wanted to make you guys realize was available. Now, again, it is reading data that is in eVA. So if you're loading data and it's not coming in as a rec or a sourcing activity or a contract into eVA, it's obviously not going to be in these type of analyses. Also, your period, I'm looking at this year, which is calendar year. So we're looking at seeing if we can get some fiscal years and kind of resegment the data a little bit differently. But in the grand scheme of things, um, we're hoping some of this stuff will be helpful for you and would love to hear your feedback. All right, so that's analytics. Staying in production, I'm going to drive over. I want to show you this contract. So for those of you that are loading your contracts into eVA, I'm going to browse contracts here in Prod. Oh, good. It's saved. I had done this earlier. I pulled up office supplies. That's just a contract I know that has plenty of spend on it. I'm just going to go to a older version of that contract. So I'm pulling up our statewide office supplies contract and give that a second to load. This is our original version here. I'm popping into the hierarchy section. Whoop. There's the new area I'm going to show you in just a minute. So any version of a contract you go into, you'll see all the different versions that have happened here. So for our statewide office supplies contract, I'm actually on Amendment 3 here. So we did a correction, a renewal, and then a correction. Not sure what happened, doesn't matter. Our most recent version is version 3. So I'm going to click on that to launch version 3. And then that gives me the active running contract for office supplies. You can see got 150 plus purchase orders, recs, items. This is a punch out catalog, so you're not seeing a lot of items there because it is serviced by a punch out. I'm going to pop back into the hierarchy section, and then this is the report I wanted to show you. So if you have spend on this contract, and I'm going to answer the question before it gets asked, this is about the tight integration of this module. So in order to get on this report, we have to buy off of contract line items. Okay. The external contract number is not getting counted here. We are buying off of contract line items, be that a punch out or line items loaded directly into the contract. But if that happens and your end users are buying off the contract or using the contract punch out, click this little down arrow here. You get to see spend on this contract. And right now it's all looks like Amendment 3 has recorded most of the spend, which is fine. But no matter how many versions you've done, whatever it is, this report is rolling that data up for you. So you can see in this case, I got a, VDH there, Virginia State Police. So you can see our heavy users, there's DGS of this statewide contract. So again, kind of giving you a feel for the spend on that contract across the contract hierarchy, no matter how many versions I do and things like that. So I thought this was really great and just something that, again, is it a perfect report? No, but it kind of helps you get a feel for the volume spent. Now, again, you'll notice it kind of knocks some things over, because I'm kind of expanding this. You can shrink it up to bring your hierarchy back over here. Okay, so you can see your contract versions, but I wanted to show everybody that as well. So that is on every contract that's in production. All right, that report is living there. Go to the most recent active running version and you'll see that report will be available to you. If you're on the most recent active running version of your contract and you open this up and it is blank or there is no data, that means you do not have end users doing requisitions that are referencing the contract. They're not purchasing directly off the contract. Because again, that external contract number is not going to work on this. This is really just introducing some analytics and again, our sourcing, our contracting, our requisition and ordering tool, very, very, very tightly integrated. All right. So again, just a couple things to look at, um, and an area that I hope is helpful for you guys as well. So just wanted to show that two little analytics area. All right, I am going to log out of prod because and shift gears to our new punch out shopping. This is hopefully what everybody's been waiting for. Let me get logged out of production here, close this, and then I'll pop into our UAT environment very quickly. Just give me a sec. So I hope and I pray this is the change we've all been waiting for. So not sure how you or your end users prefer to navigate to a punch out. Are they going directly to the contract and accessing the punch out there? Are they going to shop and searching for products and accessing the punch out there? Another method is obviously to go into procurement, create a rec, and then there's a back to catalog. So you can get your requisition created and you can go back to the catalog and you can do punch out shopping that way. So any way that you're getting to the punch out catalog. I wanted to show you though, how we can add items once we've already punched items back into eVA, because that's what's been missing. We can't do that now. Again, to repeat, the condition we're in now, my end user, my buyer, my requisitioner goes out, they go to a punch out catalog, they add a bunch of items, they bring it back into eVA. They go, oh no, I need to add 2 more items. They can't do it because if they go to punch back out, it creates a new requisition. So this change I'm about to show you ends that. All right. So let me show you some of this nuance here. So I'm just going to go into search products. I'm going to go in this way to get my punch out catalog. If you weren't aware of this in the filtering area, you can say, well, show me only punch out catalogs. Hit that checkbox, do your search, and it's going to filter my list to punch out only. And again, I'm in UAT. Not for those of you that are getting ready to run into UAT and test this yourself. Not every punch out catalog. Remember, this is a test environment for our team too. So not every punch out catalog is functioning in UAT because it is a test environment and our suppliers don't always maintain their test connections once they've gone to production. But I know this first one on the list, Abacus Office Solutions, is working in UAT. So I'm just I haven't created a rec. I haven't started a requisition. I'm going to punch out. But one thing that I want to kind of change your mentality on is we're really going to start managing this shopping experience through the cart. So you'll notice there's a cart here and there's a cart there when I go into shop. Since I'm starting a new rec, I'm going to open this cart up and it says new purchase requisition, and I don't have anything else in draft when I hit this drop down. So I have nothing in my cart. I have no other draft requisitions, and I'm going to leave this open for a second. All right. So I'm starting new, starting fresh. So I'm going to go to Abacus. I'll go ahead and punch out. All right. I'm in Abacus. It's got some items here waiting on me. Oop, let Abacus load up here. I hope they haven't taken down their punch out since I just tested this a few minutes ago. Let me refresh. There we go. All right. So let me add 4 of these. Add that to my cart. And I'll do 5 of those. All right. So I've got 2 items in my cart, total quantity of 9. I'm done. This isn't any different than what you guys are doing now. There we go. I get my cart summary. Total price is $50. In Abacus's case, I hit continue and it takes me back. And then, whoa, where's my requisition? Because right now what's happening in production, I bring it back and it launches me right into my rec. What it did is it populated my cart. And it says, wait a minute, Shane, that says new. If I hit the drop down, there's the rec I just created. And if I select that in my cart, you'll see the 2 items that I put in there. All right. Now, that is my Abacus. And I've got my cart. I can check out and complete the rec if I wanted to. right? To help me kind of track this, I've got a couple options here within eVA. And I can edit my requisition name right from this cart view. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this is kind of a best practice. I think that might be smart to follow because I can save that now. And that updates my rec title to Abacus order for July. I still have my items here, right? And I go, oh my word, I need to add more items to Abacus. So if I want to do that in today's environment, I can't. There's no option for me to do that. If I go back out to Abacus, it creates a new rec. This new change that's in UAT right now, I can add additional items back to Abacus. So if I want to do that, I need to make sure my cart is pointed to the draft Abacus rec. Because again, if I switch to here, I'm going to start a new requisition if I switch. So I want to make sure I'm on the Abacus requisition. I can go back to my Abacus punch out. And there we are. And whatever these are, it looks like spoons, some sort of spoons or something. Let's get some spoons. Let's get 2 of those. I want 2 spoons, 2 boxes full of spoons. So I can add that to my cart. Now you notice in here, it just says 1. All right. You're just doing the 1 item here. All right. I can go to my cart. I confirm that those are the spoons. I hit continue. It brings it back into eVA. It brings me back to the shopping page. I go back to my cart and look at that. I've got my spoons in there. Boom. All right. This also works in a change order scenario when the rec is in draft. Okay. So go to your order, do the change. Your requisition will go to draft. Make sure you pick the proper requisition here. Make sure it says Abacus in this example. Go back into Abacus, add your items, away you go. All right. Now, I want to reinforce some things that I think are pretty powerful. To change quantity, to delete a line item, you do not, N-O-T, have to punch back out. So let's say, oh, wow, I actually needed 4 spoons. Just change it here. Boom, 4, done. Price updated, right? Oh my gosh, I actually needed, only need 1 of the ballpoint pens. Change it here, boom, price updates. You do not have to punch back out to do that, okay? If I would need to delete a line, I don't really need these big equal. And look, when I put my mouse over I can get the full description. So these are the bullet marker point. I don't need these. I'm going to get rid of it. Goodbye. You get rid of it right in the cart. Do not punch back out. You're only punching back out to add items. Okay. Now you can manage multiple draft requisitions right from the cart. So let's say I wanted to go to supply room. Get out of Abacus, hit your drop down, go to new. All right, so that puts me in a new, I'm telling the system, this cart, I'm going to do a new one. I'll search for the supply room. And again, guys, what you're seeing here in production is I can see Radford's and Mary Washington's. Remember, I full admin. I can see, I got the whole world that I'm looking at. So I am going to grab, I think we linked a statewide one. I think it's actually pointing to one of the university ones. Don't worry about it. We're in test. You get the idea. So I'm going to go to the supply room. Punch out to the supply room. I go down here. Gym wipe dispenser bucket. That sounds like fun. Let's get a couple of those. Add that to the cart. And now I want to keep shopping. And let's get 2 of these tables. Those tables look like fun. 2 of those tables. I can either view the cart. ooh, that's an expensive one. Or submit the cart. I'm going to go ahead and submit. This brings me back into eVA. And again, it's going to drop you back into the shopping area. Hit the cart. You'll see your rec. It has the date on it. And then you will see the items from supply room. And again, I am strongly suggesting you go ahead and get your name on there. TSRC.
While you're typing that, Shane, we did have a great question that came over regarding price changes. So if items in your cart that you're creating these drafts for, if the
Yes.
price changes by the vendor,
Yes.
does the cart automatically update with the revised pricing?
It does not. It does not. So if you have a price change, the easiest thing to do is to take the line item, delete it, and punch back out, bring in the new item. Okay. Which you can do if you're in draft. So it's not quite that fancy where it does an automatic update for you. But if you are aware of a price change because you've had a punch out order in draft for a certain period of time, delete the item, pop back out, bring the updated item in. Okay. So that would be, it's not quite that fancy.
And for those that utilize our training environment versus UAT to conduct training, are these features available for in the training environment?
I am pretty sure when they do the UAT migration, it also goes into train.
I believe so also.
Because Tony, we authorize a training and UAT migration, correct? I think I'm right with that.
Yes, we do.
Okay, yes.
Yep.
So it should be in training. Now, again, it is not in production until Friday morning, guys. Not in production until Friday morning. So I just went and did a supply room order and I did an Abacus order and I can manage those. There's my Abacus order. Here's my supply room. If I wanted to do a new one, so I can switch back over to Abacus. Boom, it updates to Abacus. And I'm like, you know what? Gosh, man, I forgot stuff again from Abacus. Again, you get the idea. I think it's worth showing you. I'm very excited about this. I know this has been major, 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 major heartburn for you guys. Let's get some plates. Add those plates to my cart. And guys, that's how easy it is. The one nuance to this, it's not going right to the rec. Again, after I punch back out, it leaves it in the cart. So again, you are managing your drafts out of the cart. If you're more single-threaded, and you do your punch out and you come back, you can go right to procurement, browse recs. And hang on, let me filter for my requests. And you'll notice there they are. There's TSR, there's Abacus. So you'll notice those recs are just right there waiting on you. Okay. They are absolutely in browse requisition. They're absolutely sitting there waiting on you. But the other area to manage those is certainly coming into the shopping area and managing from the cart. You can also be out here, on your main page. You can hit the cart and it's going to shoot you into your most current rec that you're on. And again, the easiest way to switch carts is to either go to, browse rec and browse rec. I'd hit create rec, browse rec, and you can maneuver here. Or if you come back into search products, anything in draft with catalog line items is going to be resting here as well. And there they are. There's my two recs that are in draft. Once they get out of draft status, they won't be in this cart list. Okay. Once they get out of draft status, and you'll have to manage those through your browse orders or browse requisitions. So once they're in progress, once you've submitted them, they come out of this list. And again, just a reminder, I think it's worth repeating. I want to delete a line, delete it here. I want to change a quantity, change it here. You can delete a requisition from here. So I'm like, oh, I'm not going to order from Abacus this month. I'm going to stick with the supply room. You can shift over to Abacus, hit that, confirm, bang, that sucker's gone. All right. That's gone. And now I'm just down to, I can do a new rec or I can shift back over to the supply room. Okay. So you can delete a rec, delete line items, manage your quantity without going back out to the supplier. When we want to go back out to the supplier, we are picking that supplier's requisitions and going back out into the punch out to do that.
And if
So,
they happen to be under procurement, under browse your requisitions, for those scenarios, we're advising to go in under shop and check your cart, but you'll also see your draft, correct?
oh, absolutely.
Yes.
There it
Yep.
is. It's right there. Here, to make this easier from a view perspective, let me get rid of all that other thing I have in UAT, all that other, there you go. So I have one draft because remember I deleted the Abacus one. So I have one draft. You can absolutely manage it from here as well. Just keep in mind, I need to do an allocation. So I've got my, I've got my items here. You can from a requisition, and it's going to scream at me. Let me put in my,
I was going to say you can go up to the cart in the corner too. So,
you could go up to the card in the corner to
which I think is a
manage.
great tip because there are
Yep.
users that you have to set your missing
Yep.
allocations and yeah. So there's people that navigate in the system from different perspectives. So we know that there's more than one way. So I thought it was worth mentioning.
Yep. So hang on. Let me save my, there we go. Now I'm saved and I can actually allocate these if I want to. Let me do an allocation real quick. And I hope everybody's using the templates to allocate. Really handy. There we go. So now I'm allocated. I can go back to catalog from here. Just make sure if I'm in draft, when I go back to catalog, it takes you back to the entire catalog. That in that case, I pull the supply room. All right. And notice it left me on the supply room when I came from that rack. Right. So I'll do that again. So in browse requisitions, this is a draft rec for the supply room. You can add items by doing back to catalog. You just want to make sure you'll notice it leaves me in that requisition. So then I could go back to the supply room and you know what? Why don't I just do it? I think it's so cool. I'll show you again. I'll pull up TSRC. I'll go to this one. I'll go back out. I am in the supply room when I went to do this. Give it a second to load up. What am I going to get here? Ooh, wall mounted. Let's get 5 of those. Submit that cart. It comes back into eVA. And then again, bump out your thing. And there you go. There's my wall mounted sanitizer. All right. And again, quantity and everything there. So that is really the big highlight. That goes in Thursday night, available for you guys Friday morning. We will be sending some additional communications out. This is, I cannot stress to you, I know Kim said something earlier. We gotta let your end users and requisitioners know this is coming. So we record this video. We're gonna send this out. You can share just this portion. There'll be an additional communication coming out with some guidance about this. Again, it's pretty simple. It is change though, guys. This is change. I'm really asking you from a training perspective, from a user perspective, you can manage your draft requisitions out of the shop and cart area here. What it really does, when Kim and I were chatting about this morning, it mimics if you're doing non-punch out, right? So if I'm adding a hosted catalog, it kind of does this for you, right? If so, hang on, I'll show you. Whoops, I was already in there. Let me reset this here. So if I get out of punch out, get out of TSRC, and just do kind of a general search here.
And you can search by a contract number by going over to the filter
Of
and you can
course,
look for those contracts,
of
which will then
course.
bring up your items that are on contract. Because we did have somebody asking about shopping off of the contract and adding items, which I also know you can add under contracts directly from the contracts. But I think we want to reinforce the idea that shop is a great area for you to manage very effectively navigating between contracts and punch out and then static items that might be added independently by the supplier. So we would encourage you to come here to this feature within the system and then filter accordingly using that side funnel feature.
Exactly. So what we've really done, and again, chatting with Kim this morning, is for a host, this is called a hosted catalog, right? It's not a punch out. I'm adding directly to the cart. Punch out is starting or has the same behavior as a hosted catalog now. Has the same behavior because as I'm adding to cart here, it's just updating my cart here and I got to check out. Well, punch out's acting like that now. That's the switch we were able to make, that a punch out is acting very, very, very similar to a hosted catalog. I can flip between the two. And again, anytime I'm ready, I can go to browse recs and pull it, or in this case for my supply room, just hit checkout. You'll notice it carries over that item, or excuse me, the requisition description for me. And that allows me, I can do my allocations, get my allocations and all that fun stuff. Because remember, I added a line. That line now needs to be allocated since I added an extra line. But that is the change to punch out.
And if you've already submitted it for approval, then pulling it back from that was the question that came over. You can't pull it back, and that would actually be
it's once
you would copy it. You can cancel and copy and.
Well, once the rec has been submitted for approval, you're not going to be able to add line items on it. It's being approved. So you would need to withdraw it, but you could withdraw it.
And then you can add those items.
Absolutely.
So the idea is that while it's in
having
draft,
the rec and draft, rec and draft. That's why this change I showed you is true for a change order. If I need to do a change order, if the change order is in draft, I'll be able to add items from a punch out catalog to a change order. All right. It's just got to be in draft. It's just got to be in draft. Can't be in progress, can't be ordered, which obviously I don't want you making changes while it's in flight. And then certainly when it's ordered, it's complete. But that's the change we made. I am super excited, but I can't stress to you guys enough. This is a change and a little bit of a change in behavior. I think it is a very positive change in behavior. I think it's very intuitive. I'm positive you guys and your end users are going to embrace this, but we got to let them know. We got to let them know what's going on. So spread the word. And again, this is in UAT. This also should be problem with the training environment is I don't know what punch outs are available in the training environment. That would be one little trick to that. Hopefully we have a couple punch outs in training that are working. So that is my portion of the user group today. Again, I am super excited about the change to punch outs. I'm super excited to be able to allow you and your end users to add items to a cart you've already pulled back. And, very, very, very excited to launch that. But please spread the word. It's a positive change. It's a change for the better. But I think my kind of thought process, the initial reaction is going to be, all right, I'm going into eVA. I'm going to a punch out. I add my items. I hit punch out. And I'm expecting the requisition screen to come in my face, and it's not going to do that anymore. And we're going to get, hey, where's my requisition? You got to hit the shopping cart. It's going to be sitting there, manage it out of the cart. And I think, to me, just playing with this for a few hours, I've gotten very comfortable doing that, and I think others will gravitate to that as well. When we talked to Tony about it, he's like, it's Amazon. We're used to adding stuff to the cart and then going to play with the cart. It's very, very Amazon. So.
Well, we can also keep in mind, again, and this is why I had you show it, that if you say, where is my requisition, you can always go under procurement to browse your requisitions, and then anything that you've created will be in draft. So if you ever need to double check yourself, that is a excellent way to go in and be able to kind of that gut check to make sure. And I see some people are already saying, oh, they've got it. We had a few questions that came over that are in the Q&A that are open. What does hosted catalog mean?
So that's the add to cart, guys. That's so here, let me go back in. It's likely easier to show versus so when I say hosted catalog, right here, see how it says add to cart? I'm not punching out. So hang on, I actually created a and see, look at me making sure I'm on the right one. Uh, When you hit add to cart here, it's immediately adding that item to the cart, right? Did you see it? It even did it. It did it while we were here working, right? So that is what we call hosted. You are not leaving eVA. Punch out is one of these guys, and you'll even see the icon looks different. That's you're leaving eVA in this case to go out to the supplier site. So punch out, host it. Those are your two items. Good question.
An example of that would be if you award a contract, you have contract items, those items get into shop, and
Yep,
that is how you're able to then filter to the contract. Those contract items should show up in shop for you to be able to
correct,
create that requisition from there.
correct.
And then the question came over about on a change order, there's a new rec. How does this affect the original order?
You're just adding to the original order. I mean, it's kind of tied to that cart. So it's you just like a regular uh, change order. You're adjusting. You just need to make sure that the rec is selected that you want to if you're adding punch out items. Now, if you're changing quantity, deleting line items, you're not leaving eVA in that case.
Yep. So keep in mind that you're only punching back out in scenarios where you need to add an item. Everything
Yes.
else can be managed directly in eVA at the
Yes.
requisition level
Correct.
within your
Only
shopping
to
cart
add an
or, yeah, only
or
to add.
there was the scenario because somebody asked a very smart question. What if there's a price change? Delete the original line item and
And then
re-add the
and
item
then you would
with the
add, but
price.
again, you've got that whole idea that you're adding. So yes.
Correct. Correct.
Great. And great questions from the group. Thank you guys so much for asking those. Sometimes we don't remember to mention specific things. And then you ask a great question, and then we're like, yes, like that was something that we need to make sure we reinforce or we state it again, or we just completely forgot to talk about it. And thank you very much to Tony. He has been feverishly behind the scenes answering over 30 questions. Some were comments, but questions that came over. Yes, he did. He gets the
Yeah,
hearts and the
I
claps.
I did. So I mentioned something about, hey, I'm getting ready to go do this, and the little hand started going up, and I start smiling because it is funny. You
We're
watch
going to
it.
leave that feature enabled for our
It's pretty
future user
cool.
groups. So we
It's
haven't
pretty
nailed
cool.
down the date for our September user group, but we will get that up on our website under the Buyer Information Center, which you can navigate to from the eVA website homepage towards the bottom of the page. If you have a coworker, colleague, someone in procurement that needs to join the conversation, you can have them sign up for the buyer user group. If you switch entities, if you go from one agency or entity to a new one, then we do want to make sure that we're updating your contact information in our contact management tool, which is Constant Contact. So I have had several people reach out to me and say, hey, I'm not getting emails. I've switched agencies, I've switched entities. And in some scenarios, we're having to delete you completely as a contact, your profile, and then add you back in. That's not something that's auto generated, it is a manual process. So help us keep you informed if you make a move. Make sure that you reach out to me specifically so that I can get you updated in the system. We're not the only group within our organization that uses the constant contact as a form of communication. So it's utilized by VIP and DGS in general. So we're wanting to make sure we keep our database up to date, but then we also get you back into other lists that you might need to receive communications such as like forum and just general buyer information that we might send out and other types of communication. And you can always, again, go to your supervisor. Hopefully, they are included in the conversation and are receiving these communications from our team when things go out that affect you as a user. And then you can always check for the playbacks and communications and eVA extras, again, in the buyer information center that you can navigate to from, again, the bottom of the eVA website. Thank you so much for my panelists here joining us today. And it looks like I think we have all of our questions answered. So we get to wrap up a little bit early. We will get the playback of this user group communicated out to you all via Constant Contact, hopefully by tomorrow. We'll also have it posted in the Buyer Information Center on the eVA website. There will be a follow-up communication we hope to get out next week that will follow what you heard about today in terms of these changes for adding, deleting, making changes related to punch out items on a requisition. And then we will get our eVA Extra for August out in lieu of our buyer user group, which we do every other month. So on the off months, we will have an eVA Extra that goes out. So we're just keeping you guys informed. And you, again, can always check the buyer information page of the eVA website to find playbacks and these previously sent communications. Oh, and you were welcome. It's like somebody put that in the Q&A. So, all right, if there's nothing additional, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Your time, attention, attentiveness, all the great interaction, great questions, and even some feedback in some scenarios. So we appreciate that. We hope to see you at the future user group, and we will stay in contact with you through that Constant Contact. So reach out to me if you need to be added or I need to make an update for you. And again, thank you for our panelists for doing a great job. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much again for joining us.